Good evening, good evening. Today is July 21st, Friday, and welcome to the Voice of Reasoning. On today's edition, we'll be discussing what to look for in a leader. I'm Chu-Chu Alex Jones, hosting the show, along with Mr. Honorable Joseph Bannie and Tinema Ducle is our guest today. We may also be joined by Christina, who should be coming on anytime now. But welcome to the show. Uh, we'll get started on how to determine, to find, to select a good leader. Mr. Bonnie.
Well, hello, everybody. Again in radio land, television land. We are on our daily show as usual to come together to reasoning, to put ourselves together and put ideas together. So as we embark on what to look for in the next leader or in determining who the next leader should be, I hope that we will have a good reasoning, from our own point of view and your point of view. And I mean, if it coincide, that's good. If it doesn't coincide, we still have a civil discussion to carry on. So I hope that our exposés will meet your expectation. Thank you.
Okay, Chenema, are you joining us for the first time, the Voice of Reasoning, where we'll come to discuss ideas about Liberia, how to build it. You're speaking with us from Atlanta, Georgia. But could you tell us a little bit about yourself and why do you decide to come on the show today?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tenema Ducle. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Um, I'm joining the show today because Mr. Bonnie is, um, I have been working with Mr. Bonnie for the past 3 years because he had show interest that he could be the next president of Liberia. So, and I find it interesting because everything that Liberia needs, I realized that he had it. But
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know.
All right. So for the past week, we've been discussing different topics. How Liberia is a mess. What do we do to stop it? Stop following bad leaders. Uh, if you support a leader that support a criminal, and you support a criminal. If you support a leader that supports a warlord, then you are supporting a warlord. There's no two ways about it. So today we want to talk about what kind of leaders. Who is a leader? First of all, what is a leader? Is it somebody who just want to rule over people and get power? Does a leader has to be a rich person? Does a leader has to be someone who is stuck up, take themselves high? So, what is a leader for the Liberian people from your point of view?
To me,
Yeah, Mr. Bond.
okay. I think what to look for in a leader. First thing, according to John C. Maxwell, in his 21st Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, he said a good leader is a leader who prepares, is a leader who creates leaders around him, which means that the people around a leader should be, I mean, a leader should be able to invest in the people he works with, meaning that he alone cannot always be the one for people to look to. A leader is supposed to create a leader, just as teachers will produce students who want to be teachers. So everything on this earth created, they always produce things after their own kind. So leaders should always be producing leaders and not be selfish. We should look at those kind of character in the leaders. Number two, we want to look for a leader who has the country at heart and not just serve. And how can that work? Let's look at our food for Liberia. What are some of the most important things that we would need in Liberia for us to get off our feet? Number one, we look at our employment, where that's employment is a general term, but I will want a leader who will begin to look at the general public needs, job creation. If these leaders are not talking about ways, not just talk about it, but if you talk about it, you should be able to show us how you'll be able to create a job. Because saying is cheap, talk is cheap, but doing the job is what expensive. So I can criticize,
Okay.
I can talk about all the good things, but if I cannot be able to tell you how I will do it, it will just be for nothing. And those areas, I will be naming them in my next expose.
So, gentlemen, you said Mr. Bannie is a good leader. Tell us, why do you think Mr. Bannie is a good leader, and what is your definition of a good leader? Is it because you know him, you're both from the same place, or he done some good favors for you? Why would you say this man is a leader, in terms of managing the country or managing whatever?
Um, the reason I said Mr. Bannie is a good leader is because I was sitting here, I'm a leader in my own way. I'm always investing in people who are waiting to achieve in life, people who are have a potential of making life better for themselves. They're just an example of me. So if I say Mr. Barney is can be either the president of Liberia, is because from the very moment Mr. Barney and I got connected, it was over a lady that was beaten in Liberia. And what Mr. Barney did, it was he stood up for this lady to make sure the person that violated this lady, that he was punished. He paid for taking advantage of another person. I'm not going to detail, to really give the whole story because it would take us a longer time.
Yeah, just in brief.
Yeah. And once Mr. Barney had this mind of getting the Liberians together to work together, not just him working or either people knowing him to be like, oh, he's a celebrity or he is the president. So it's all himself. I don't see that in him. I see a father figure in him. I see a leader I see him to be like someone who, if today he began to be the president of Liberia, he would develop Liberia not by his word. He would develop Liberia now excuse me, with what Liberia need: one, food, agriculture. Secondly would be our role. And the third would be uniting the Liberian together, because since he and I have been really knowing each other, that's what we work towards.
Okay. So, question now. Other people can make the same case. I'm sure there were people who stand up for people in Liberia. There are people who done things for people in Liberia, good things, right? Cummings people will say Cummings is a good leader because Cummings have shown leadership. Jowia people will say Jowia is a good leader, just like her, because they know him personally and they have seen some things. Do you not think that that's the problem sometimes in Liberia, where because you know somebody and what gesture or good things they've done for you, so you tend to support them? Am I accurate, Mr. Bannie? Help me. Yeah, because we're not there talking about Mr. Bannie. We're looking at an Irish person If you go and get them food, you go to if I go to a town today and I help people in that town, the next thing the people will say, I should be president, I'm a good man. You know what I mean? There's nothing tangible other than, everybody help their friends, whether I did bad thing the next time or not, whether I stole government money, they don't care about it. What they care about, I fed them, I did something. So how could we now distinguish between people personal relationship in Liberia and national interests?
National interests. Let me come there to kind of buttress, even though I'm not here to praise myself. But what attracted a lot of people to my plan was that, Mr. Chu-Chu, we can say verbally, like all the other candidates, where can you ask them, I want to see what you're talking about, and the person show you the blueprint. You see, because we say in our Liberian English or Liberian terminology, book can lie, paper can lie. So what I did was I kind of put the nation building plan in columns so that you see this is what we're going to do. I mean, I condemn you, but this is how we're going to do, and give you a copy, the hard copy. What do I do that for? Tomorrow, you can come back at me and ask me, Mr. Bannie, you said it, so I have no point of arguing or lying to you or trying to justify my lies. I'll tell you a story. 2 months ago when I was in Liberia, some political group, met my people with my brochure, with my plan. I gave everybody, all the chairmen and community leader, I gave them copy. I said, show to the people, this is what we will do. You know what the people told us? Why are you sharing your platform to people? You see, you don't have to show platform to people, because tomorrow, if you do that, tomorrow it will come at you. You know what does that signify? Is that they lie to the people what they're going to do. So when they get in power, they don't do it. When you ask them, they say, what proof do we have? But for us, we show proof. And those are the kind of leaders we want to find. Someone that we can hold you tomorrow by your wall and you say, yes, I said it and I got proof for it. And not just say verbally. But you say it, let's see what we have, and let me get a copy so tomorrow I'll be able to hold you responsible.
Okay. So that means a leader should have a vision and they should write it down for everybody to see it and question it.
Yes, even though there is not a religious matter, but the Bible even said it clearly. It said, have the vision and write it down clean.
Okay.
Well, let's write the vision down clean so that everybody can see the vision.
The thing I'm struggling with here is there are some, not all, people who in Liberia, because we're talking to Liberia, how we can get out of this mess. Okay. Tenema. They may have the vision, they may have it written down. Okay. But at the same time, most people know that once these people get in power, it becomes a mess. Let me give you an example. Charles Taylor had a great vision for Liberia. If you go during his campaign, how you want to make Liberia self-sufficient, independent, right? He has some good plans. But Charles Taylor gets there and he take his son, committing crime with a special unit. He take the central bank, he put it to his house. He take Joel Howard Taylor, his wife, he made her assistant director.
Can I be excused for 1 minute?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So he does all those things. So the people now have become very wary on plans. They've been very skeptical on everybody. And rightfully so. One of the bad people they're not skeptical about.
Why?
If you Joseph Boyka, you stay in government, you haven't produced anything, you haven't shown anything, you join all then the Liberian people, they're not skeptical about you. If you Bannie and I don't know if you heard today, Bannie disassociated himself from Joe Walker's campaign. He
Oh.
called him a very deceitful man. That he worked so hard. So that's another story for another day. But I just wanted to put that out there. It was a press conference. I listened to the press conference, and this thing that we've been seeing here for 5 years. These people are useless. Joseph Walker is useless. And Bannie, you were coming to say, and our his buddy, and they used to eat together, and they used to go around together.
Yeah.
So there's something maybe that we know that the Liberian people need to see, because you know what they say when small boy say poo poo in the pankana, you must believe it.
Yeah, no, he says small boy. When he says small boy, they're poo poo on the pankana, he say now on the sea, let it break it.
Yes. We've been telling the Liberian people about it, Joseph Walker. Joseph Walker. You can't say anything about him. What does comments have to say? The people who work around him, the people who have relationship with him. Everybody can be against you. These people stand to benefit. The American star who they were here parading in America. What did he have to say about Joseph Walker? You know, what Ure has to say about Joseph Walker? What George Weah has to say about Joseph Walker? But according to Liberian people, that's not sufficient. They will be skeptical of Alex Jones or Joseph Bannie, who never done none of those things, though.
Right.
You know, just a Taylor, you know, came my man, came my power, will vote for you. So somehow, I think it's a psychological, pathological problem in Liberia with the people. They're sociopaths where, you know, to some degree, they enjoy the misery, if not for themselves, but for other people. And I think a leader has to understand that. Liberia is almost like a big mental institution. We all need some kind of rehabilitation. Yeah, they call it mental illness. It took a lot of time before Americans in the Western world came that people can be disturbed in the head, and the choices that they make is because of those. Sometimes it's childhood, sometimes it's trauma from war, sometimes, you know, they were not loved by their parents, or they didn't grow up in an environment where they could see right from wrong. Today you have young people raising young people literally born in the streets. So how can that person go and vote and choose somebody that, you know, stand up for morals when you never seen that before in your life? Those are our national problem. As a leader, you can build all the fancy things, you can do all the things, you can bring the police force, you can bring all, if you don't deal with the people's psychological state. Okay. What did Gaddafi do? What would Gaddafi now build the whole Libya? The whole Libya was built. You marry, they give you money, you get your apartment, you won't go outside from school. They give you what the people did. Any people that got it one day, they say, you know what, this man bad, let's get rid of him.
Let's get rid of him.
So we think leadership sometimes is a joke, especially in a country where people are sociopaths. The leaders are, you know, psychopaths, in my opinion. All right, and that's a scientific word. You can go look it up where it means. It's not a curse. People are diagnosed with that kind of problem. The way they act is all about me. I'm the only person need to be president. That's a psychopathic behavior. You form a party. You got to be the head of the party. You got to be the political leader. You are a psychopath.
Everything you got to be.
You are a psychopath. You may not know it, but if you go to a psychology where you cannot say, you know what, you understand you have limitations. Maybe your health limitation. Maybe you are not popular among the what you call the voters. But you can't reason that way. You got to you got to buy people, you got to do all they want. You're a psychopath. That's the English word for it.
Right.
Meaning everything is about you.
Everything about you.
So you cannot be a great leader when you're a psychopath. Joe, we are the same way. Everything is about you. All day you won't wear new shoes, new clothes, Gucci this. You know, people suffering, they got food to eat. Mothers, they got hospital beds. And your priority is to go to FIFA World Cup to see your son. So your son is more important, right, than the millions of people in Liberia with their children that ain't got food to eat. If a team we are there, oh yeah, you know, if you can't take care of the people in West Point, if the children in West Point ain't got shit on their backs, or in Nukutan, They got food to eat. They can eat restaurants. We know it. We help people in Liberia. We see it every day. And you only concerned about your son are living in France, that in the US. Then you're a psychopath. So let me help Liberian people with another word today. Most of these leaders, these 4 political leaders, they are psychopaths. And like I said, you can look the word where it means, and it will describe them to the T. So we don't need no more psychopaths in Liberia. We need people who, first, is order-centric. Your focus on leadership is not you, it's people. When George Washington was giving the crown in America, after he fought and won the Revolutionary War, after the war, he went to his house. He said, I'm done. I did my job. He didn't say, oh, you'll make me president or you'll make me king. They came to him and said, you did such a fine job. Please be our leader. He refused. Liberian men refuse. So when we start seeing leaders that can say, I don't want this position because I understand the task, there are other people better than me. That's the kind of leader. They went back to him. He said, I will only take this job if I'm not king of America. We fought against monarchy. And he could have restored himself king for life.
Right.
So if you read books on leadership, Jesus Christ, okay, when he had his disciple, he said the least of you would be great. Okay. Every day you go to church. Me, I don't go to church, but at least I can read the Bible and retain something in it.
I know. They call him king. He said, well, now what you say?
Exactly.
I didn't tell you
He never called himself king.
No.
You know, so you can't be a good leader when it's all about you. You won't be senator. You won't be representative. Sometimes let the people see your value. Just like Ruth Perry or Sanga Wolo. They were not running beyond government position. Okay, Chief Tama Taylor. They were not really. The people were sitting out in the town, in the houses. The people that went for job in Ghana, Ellen Johnson, Sawyer, that were fighting to become interim president. They said, no, we don't want none of y'all. You're Abu Kiri.
I know.
They look for somebody who don't even want a job.
Yeah.
And that what ended the war in Liberia. They started to look for people. They didn't take anyone in the war laws. They didn't take anyone. The moment they started bringing the old recycled politician, beginning with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, that was the end of Liberia.
Yes. And let me just a little bit chip in a little bit. I think you hit it right on the top. When our last show, I said we need to discourage people from taking government job for taking government position as a job. That's what you just hit. You know, when people who don't want to do the job, who not even thinking about the position, these are the people who work effectively. Because actually they will put in everything they have. But these guys that just running for government because they're making $15,000 a month, and they got benefits that when you calculate everything, they are making $50,000 a month. These are the people who are only going there for the money. They are only going there for what they can get. It's not for what you can get. You see the policy that have been running for centuries in our political arena is keep the people poor, and you will always get what you want from them. That's the policy. Get the people to be less educated so they can understand what we're doing. So whatever we put in their mouth, they will eat it, in a sense. So what do I mean by that? No jobs for common people. Just get jobs and throw it out in abroad for your friends. And let it come sit over the people. So that anytime the day we want to get in power, we will give them what we want to give them, not what they deserve. And they will fall for you. Isn't that what's going on now? People come in your community, they throw a few cup of rice at you. You think that's a big thing to do. Now, no, you should know that you are more valuable than a cup of rice. You are more valuable than giving you handouts. You should be the one determining how much you should give you. If actually it have to be like that, I will tell you how much I want you to give me for my vote. Not you to tell me how much my vote value, because I value myself. This is the lack of value we Liberians don't have. We let people to come and value us. Look here, in this America, when you go for a job, they ask you how much do we pay you. But in Liberia, they tell you how much they will pay you. And you be like begging them. No, we need to develop value for ourselves. And if the next leader does not show our value or your value, that person is not a leader. How do they show our value? Let's look at people, they call them Zokos. Why are you going to call people Zokos when you can't call your children Zokos? And besides, who made the Zokos? That y'all. Because you took all the opportunity from the people, from young people. And human being as a whole, you must live. You must do something to live. You're not going to stand online and die with hunger. So the next leader, if the next leader is not talking about changing the lives of youth, the life of young people, especially our young, beautiful women, if they are not thinking about changing your life to make it better, to create jobs for you to work, that person is not the next leader. Because the only way Liberia will be better when everyone's working, so that everybody will be self-responsible, self-sufficient. If none of the leaders talking about that in that area and showing you how they're going to do it, that person is not the next leader. That person is just going to get there for themselves, their family, and friends. So we are here today to tell you what to look for in the next leaders. Let's look at our military. Chu-Chu. Do we have military in Liberia that if, God forbid, anything happen in the country, our military will be able to withstand? No. These people are not even talking about rebuilding our military. And when we rebuild the military with army barracks in all of the counties, the 15 counties, we got army barracks there, we'll need more recruits. And where will we get more recruits? In the street. The motorboy boys, motorboy is not their career, but they are just doing it to survive. I'm telling you, if we are going to rebuild our military, we will have less motorbike in the city, less motorbike on our highway. We'll have young people we're creating them to be warriors for Liberia. Not to talk about the police force. Police barracks in all other counties. That's creating jobs. So if none of these leaders talking about this, that person is not a leader that want to build Liberia.
So I went on and got a definition of psychopathic behavior, because I told you I read up on this thing and it described the full and many of the people today you see running for office. So the characteristic, one, they show lack of empathy. Okay. And they are very manipulative, charming. So when you see Joe, we are go there, he's singing, he's dancing, you know, and then he leave from there, he say, look at these stupid fools.
Extreme, though, they say extreme.
Yeah, that's a psychopath.
That means how the person don't have not one bit of sympathy for you.
But they are charming. And that's what fool a lot of people. You saw Hitler. Hitler was very charming, very eloquent. Everybody, women, children, everybody loving. But when it came to human lives, did he care? Did he show any empathy as people were dying? You know, so that's what you find in these people. They behave in an impulsive and risky manner. You join people like Prince Johnson. You call yourself a political leader. You join people like Boaka. Then you say, oh no, that politics. That is risky. If Boaka becomes president today, Prince Johnson probably going to be running the country. So those kinds of behavior, lack of conscious of guilt, and refuse to accept responsibility for the action. Have you ever heard Prince Johnson apologize? Have you ever heard Alice Cummings, after deceiving the Liberian people with the whole CPP mess today, the people suffering? Did he come up one day and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake? He blamed other people. Oh, that the opposition, that Unity Party people.
Everybody
is a psychopath, you know, and the reason why I brought a definition, because you know, Liberian people, everything that curse. They can't read. So there's a definition. So you have everywhere, those leaders, they are psychopaths. This is the definition of it. Let's go here. They're different traits. Okay. They're cold. Look at the leaders in Liberia. They're making $15,000. The people walking on the streets with no food. You think they care? They buying Gucci. Okay. Anti-social. They don't live among the people. They get in an air-conditioned car. They live in the penthouses or in a garage. They build a fence. It's so high. Psychopathic behavior. Narcissistic. Okay. And what I was saying earlier, these are people who in the early childhood experienced things. You know, some of them were victims. You know, some of them, it's a born tendency. Lack of parental affection. Okay. And those are things that lead. And they become leader. And they can be very successful. Another part, I would say, they're very productive.
Because of the forced life.
Right.
You know, the forced life and get it any kind of way they want to.
Right. Someone that's sadistic.
Yes.
Borderline, that's statistical,
antisocial. You must get it. If they have to kill, they will get it. Aren't they killing young people and people these days for money?
Right. So
and they think that is successful life to take another man's life for your riches, for your own selfish desires. So yeah, they will be successful.
And now, so back from the leaders to the people themselves. So psychopaths are just the extreme, the one who will do anything to gain power. But most people in Liberia are sociopaths. They are sociopaths. That's why they support. That's why they don't care about what people do. If Burger, does something wrong, he wants to set the whole country. You don't care because you are a sociopath.
Let's see.
So you don't care about the suffering of the other people. You don't care right from wrong.
Let's see at what age a person start becoming psychopath.
Oh, you can be as young as I think 12.
See.
Yeah.
Now we look at that in George Weah lifestyle when he was playing football.
You see? So there are people who are hungry for power. Okay.
Always.
And
they want to always be in the head.
They don't feel guilt or remorse, but they are not inherently evil. And that's what can fool people. So you see a harmless old man like Boaka. You think, oh, the mayor, somehow you don't talk too much. We don't want to be the talking. They think we bad people.
Yeah.
Paul Pot, one of the most evil men, Stalin, evil people, they don't talk too much. You don't know what they're thinking. And then they get in power, they tend to be sadistical tyrants. So when people can talk and express themselves and say, this is my view, that is my view, I don't agree with you, that's not a bad thing in society. That's why this show is called The Voice of Reasoning. And anybody welcome to join us. If you think these people are not psychopaths and they are not terrible leaders, then come and tell us. We're not like the other people that will say, oh, only our ANC people will come on this show here, because those are all tyrannical behavior. Only our CDC people that won't come our radio station. Only our Unity Party people. You see the thing right in front of your eyes. Okay? So they're very highly productive, but they are not inherently evil. And some are highly productive members of society. So they do things so that other people can see them. So you see right now, you go to the representative and the senator, they're all going in the town. They say they're doing a little project here. They're building little things here. That's what psychopaths and sociopaths do. Because why? They want to deceive you. They're manipulative. The thing I didn't do for the last 5 years in Liberia, this year, they will be doing everything.
They will be doing it. That's where I want to come in.
A real leader do not have to do those things.
No, you don't have to. You do it when you start.
Right.
See?
So let's leave it off for a little bit, because I think in our leadership discussion, that's a good context. What kind of leader do we need?
What kind
you
of
can
leader?
have a brilliant leader and he's a psychopath. You can have an educated leader and he's a sociopath. We don't need those kinds of people like Prince Johnson and Porker and Weah. They are psychopaths. And if you think I'm lying, you go and Google that word and you check their behavior. Everything centered around them. Everything got to be about them. That's why they have no second in command. You go to many of their parties, you ask, okay, who's the deputy? They don't have a deputy. That's why they created that position, political leader. You the law and supreme. All of them do it. Cummings, Walker, Gongolo, we are. So they want to create a situation where they make all the decisions. And when they become leaders, That's just the way they do. And I want people don't know these things. I had to take some of these things in business, in business school, because I have to know what kind of client or what kind of partners you're dealing with.
Right.
So we want to educate our voters and our people that when somebody come and stand, you see somebody doing something because of election, the first question they ask, oh, what have you done for us? What did Barack Obama do for America before he became president? Did he go and build rules and build things for people to show how silly some of them are? Some jackass will come and say, oh, I put in a little bridge here, so you elect me, and then you buy into that dumb mentality.
That dumb
Why he didn't
mentality.
come and build it ever since?
Yeah.
So
That is what is fooling our people. Okay, if I didn't start doing you good, why? For instance, I like to put mine in an idiomatic way. Bring stories, because through stories you can learn the fights. There's an old lady in the town, and she have to fetch her own wood. Young boys are sitting there seeing the old man taking the wood on her head, going for water and doing everything. Only to know that one evening they saw a beautiful girl come from the city, come to the old man's house and sleeping in the old man's house. How do they know? The old man said, this is my granddaughter. Before the next day, you see boys bringing wood, bringing chicken soup and things. What do you think those boys are bringing the wood for? When the old man used to suffer all months around, nobody brought her wood. Nobody brought her water. Nobody said, oh, old man, let me come help you. Only when you see the young girl, that's when you want to bring wood. This is what leadership are doing. The 5 years, I bet you, after this election, all those guys, you see them running around, building 2-3 rooms to call them school, they're building bridges, they will all go away. They are going to go away. But the next coming election, you see that's when they come flopping around. Look at the amount of roads that have been built in a few days. Bridges. People are everywhere giving good. Why we have to do this only when there's election around? If we had the money, why we couldn't do the job before then? This is where Liberian we need to look at. These are all bad leaders. The only they are doing it in a way to bribe you, to devalue your values. Why you don't want to come do good for me when you didn't do it before? So leaders who are doing that, they are not leaders. But sometimes you say, well, that's the only person I have. But that's the only person you have that will suffer you tomorrow.
And that's the only person you choose. The one thing this election, nobody will say, oh, we didn't have nobody that were only too worse or too evil. You rejected all the good people.
Yes.
Good people stood up. They were at your beck and call. Leave these old politicians alone. Leave the old man here alone. Let he not take enough from Liberia. No, we won't broadcast. Leave Cummings alone. Cummings were there from 2016, 2017. Even Prince Johnson, who didn't campaign, the people supported over him. The people knew his lifestyle. They knew the kind of person he was. We could not appeal to the people. Why you can't find somebody else in your party? You lost the election. Prince Johnson and all won you. So that's a bad characteristic. That's the psychopathic behavior that feels that I'm the head. I don't care if the party goes down. We didn't win. So long I'm the head. That's what we're talking about with psychopath.
Let me come in real quick to inject this, okay? The leaders must be of his word, his or her word. How many times didn't Prince Johnson destroy other leaders, turn around and becomes, and that person turned around to become his angel? He started with George Weah, destroyed George Weah. After a while,
he started with Charles Taylor.
Right. And then come back. Now they said, now he's talking with Charles Taylor.
He started with Charles Taylor. He betrayed Charles Taylor. Then he joined Doe. He betrayed Doe and killed Doe and slaughtered him. Then he joined George Weah.
I'm looking at the present in the
but the behavior is the same. You know, whether it's political or
And
not,
that's
it's the
just what
same.
you said about psychopath, right?
Psychopath.
It always the same.
Mm-hmm.
Start from youth.
Mm-hmm.
This man is a traitor. Let me come to Liberia, let Prince Johnson arrest me or do whatever he wants to do. But this man has always proven to us from time to time and time that he is a traitor.
Well, how
He
you
tell
blame Prince Johnson, Mr. Bannie? I'm sorry to interrupt. How will you blame Prince Johnson when grown people, the elders in the country, the clergy people in the country, the media people in the country, all will sit there and let the political leaders like Boyka, Cummings, Gonglo, because Gonglo support him?
Yeah,
Gonglo
Gumbo is
does
a
not
seem,
speak
yeah.
up against
Gumbo is
him.
a seem liar.
Okay, so what you want him to
Treacherous.
do? What you
See?
know, the Prince Johnson is not, you know, law and God in Liberia. Prince Johnson is nothing. To tell you he's nothing, when Chancellor in Liberia, Prince Johnson fled like a little cat out of Liberia, and he never returned until Taylor left Liberia. That Prince Johnson running around making noise, he fled like a market dog. But because Liberian people don't have no courage, they're scared of everything. You think real people in Liberia that are standing up for true leaders? So let's put this on the screen. I'll give you the flow back because it lists what a good political leader should be, and you're touching on those things.
Right.
So you can look at them. Good communication, honesty and integrity, good decision making. Okay, must be able to inspire other people.
Yes.
Okay, must delegate tasks effectively. A man with a vision and a purpose. This is not rocket science. You don't need no, we can't find a leader. Look at these things and look at your you know, as jackasses and calling them political leader. Which one of them can even communicate their policy? Which one of them have honesty? Okay, which one of them make good decisions? You go and take criminal like Musa Belede there. He's a criminal. He's convicted of criminal in the FIFA court. You take him. You know that yesterday that was his son. So now when they want you bring in the criminal and his son now to go in House of Representatives. So he's a jackass, Cummings. So he doesn't meet the requirement of what a good leader is. And I will say it because Liberian people, like I said, they do everything. The place they're supposed to put their mouths, their future, their country, they don't put their mouth in. But you talk about European Cup football, that one will be discussing. Then it will be turning around 2 months from now, 3 months from now. Oh, we're suffering in this country. Oh, we're tired of suffering. Oh, please give me small thing. You sitting down and let fools come over you, lie to you. This man, his very resume right here. Sorry, Mr. Bannie.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Cummings right thing here.
I'm trying to put something
he
on the
served. Please change it for us. Let me show you the Liberian people saying they don't like to read or they don't like to do research. Let me put it up here.
Oh man.
Let me share this last point and I will give you the floor and then we'll soon be out of here. Okay. Yes, Cummings resume. His own Wikipedia. Can you please put our
I'm trying to get a recording, man. Okay.
Okay. Can we please put that slide up, please?
So this was October. By December, I was in my store and I got an invitation.
Okay, Mr. Bannie, let me interrupt real quick. Okay, yes, Alice's Cummings own profile page, right? For the time he was born, everything. Here is it right there. He served as an independent director of Shera from December 2014 until 27 April 16, right? And as the director of International Bank Liberia Limited. It's right there. Go to the Liberia International Bank Limited. Look at the freaking corruption, right? The stable money company in Liberia. 500,000 equal payment made to Big Ball 1, Big Ball 2. 200,000 for convention of the Unity Party. Pay out to Sable's lawyer, Bannie Shema. Isn't that a Unity Party man who was elected chairman of the Unity Party at the convention? $50,000 to Richard Tauber chairman. These are all the allegations between our bank. All this money. And now one person went to jail. Ellis Cummings was on the board of director of that bank that facilitated this company's transaction. So the man who telling you say that when he became president, $70,000 got missing. He can't even manage $70,000. That the country $800 million he will manage. So I'm not just speaking on Ellis Cummings. All of them are useless. Burka is 10 times more useless. So is George Weah. And that's why you have the country you have. It's poor, and it will be continuously the way it is until we determine and get good leader. Let me give you the floor, please. Go ahead. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Yeah, now I can hear you.
My mic was on.
Okay.
You hearing me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to disprove something here. The father said that Bannie Euro did not fight Charles Taylor War because that was the big talk for Henry Costa, for him biking this man, calling him father. He argued at one point in time that Bannie Euro got his riches from Africa or somewhere to come to Liberia, you know, which everybody know. But let me disprove that Bannie Euro was armed, I think, around the April 6th war. So just imagine, say, April 6th war killed a lot of people. And if you are fighting for Charles Taylor, or if you are for Charles Taylor, you have gun in the street. Why you have the gun for? Just for the show? I know you have to kill somebody. So Tewan Gonglo, in his TRC confection, came that close to death because once somebody in the Charles Taylor government was hunting him. So I want us to listen to that recording. I recorded it.
Then the EFN attacked the EFW junction, and then was stopped by FPFL fighters right there, not a war. I was between Mrs. Medina Wisse, Chris, one of the aides of the ambassador, and ambassador sitting on the side. Ambassador gave me a face cap. I was sitting in the middle. But what got me really scared was when the JC and Howard side coming from Israel was standing on that side. Joe Tate, there were Joe Tate, Kuku Dennis, Jonty Richardson, Bannie Euro, and Charles Bright. And all of them armed.
You hear that?
And then Joe
all of them armed. Listen, Bannie Euro.
Well, Mr. Bannie, the thing in the TRC report, the man's a warlord. Okay. He helped break down the agriculture bank.
So
he would tailor designate to the interim government. Everybody knows that.
But the thing about it, why didn't Bannie Euro go to TRC to testify?
Because it was voluntary.
See, because they knew that they have all bloody hands, and then they come to Liberian people and tell and make themselves look like an angel.
But any Tewan Gonglo that talking, he didn't talk about the Dima Defense Force.
He didn't.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Those people who are coming before y'all now, these people, this is about time, Liberia. Let us open a new page. And the new page is, let's look among the grassroots of those people who have never taken part in government government activities, those people who did not take part in the war, nor economic crimes. These are the aspirant we should go to. And not the four people standing by, or 5 people, whoever. Any of those leaders that are coming around you, if you see them bringing the same recycled government, those are not leaders. Because in the same way they are taking the criminals, they're never going to talk about law and order. Because they will not punish those people in their group. And if they can't punish the people in their group, there's no way they're going to punish anybody else. So, to find the next leader for Liberia should be those who did not take part in the war, because the war crimes and economic crimes code will come. in this era, we will stand up, and it will mean that we will protest day and night for months, if possible year, that will punish these people. We will do it. If Henry Costa, he alone, could organize June 7 protests, even though they bought him out, somebody in this era will organize a protest.
And let me just say this point, and I don't have anything personal to gain or lose with any one of the other candidates. But they must,
yes,
okay, candidates, you know, who among those 4 people, they must also be prepared for the job. They must also be honest and have some integrity. They must also be able to inspire other people and work with other people. They must be able to dedicate tasks. So the days where Liberia, they give somebody a position anymore, if we want to improve our economy, want to improve our living standard, right? You're a professional man. In your field, nobody goes and take Alice Jones or somebody who don't know nothing about what you're doing and say, okay, come and take Mr. Bannie place. I have to be trained. I have to know that, you know, so we've got to stop to some degree, get leaders. Look, if Joe could go to classroom while he was president, okay? If Thomas Sankara, who never had a college education, could have left one of the landmarks, one of the most developed in a developing country in Africa, Thomas Sankara did more in 4 years than any other leader in Africa, even currently. He didn't have any big education, but he had integrity. Yes. If you watch, he had a vision for his people to be self-reliant. He was not riding. The first thing when he got there, he took all the Mercedes-Benz. He took all the luxury. This man would not even turn the air conditioner in his office because he felt a Burkina Faso somewhere needed food to eat or needed a fan. So all the things that, you know, when people say, oh, we don't know how to select leader and thing, we give you a good communicator, honesty, and integrity. If the person can be honest, they lying to you here, they work on RB Bank, they can't even tell you it, that's lying. If they're going to Ghana signing deals and they can't come on and say, oh, I promise you people, they are lying. They don't have any integrity.
No integrity.
Okay? If they come in here and tell you, say, why the economy is suffering, you know it's suffering, then they're telling you, say, oh, tell me thank you that are doing such a good job, the job we are. That's not integrity. You understand? Yeah. So you can't have a good leader. You didn't have any progress in Liberia. They select people who can talk the truth. If they're taking almost $15,000 a month, president, or $10 million every year, is that somebody with integrity? Is that a good decision making? If you're surrounding yourself with criminals, like you said, Bannie Yure, Daniel Chair, Bresson Finley, is that a good decision? When you're president, that's the kind of decision you make. You're supporting people that liability. This man don't have any experience. This kid, basically a child, he never had any kind of position. The job he's doing that because he power on the station. You want him now to come make decisions and write laws for a district. You see how wicked these people are.
Right.
Okay. The person must be able to delegate tasks and they will have a vision for the country, not just for they and the people.
Not for they and the people.
As that. No rocket science or 6-year-old can look at this thing here and make a decision on your candidate. If you see these things in a person, be honest with yourself. They're not your person. But if you do not, and you see the person doing all the opposite of these things here, then you go there and say, oh, when the person get there, they will be different. Then you yourself, jackass. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I'll give you the last.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, my people, we are giving you heads up and we are reasoning. This is not the first. We will not stop here. Tomorrow we are coming back. Please join us so that we all can reason together. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, and God bless.
And jackass is not a course. It's just a stupid person who continues to be played by other people. Thank you very much, and have a good
all right. Thank you. God bless.